Good morning, welcome to another reading vlog. So this week is the Spookathon, so I'm going to be focusing on reading my Spookathon books. Obviously, I already posted a TBR, but pretty much these are the physical books I want to try and read this week. This one's been added on because I didn't quite manage to finish Death Note last week, but this is the last book in the series, so I'm going to squish it into this week. But I do think this week the first thing that I'm going to read is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. Mainly because it'll be nice to get a quick win in there for the readathon, help myself feel like I'm making progress. I have actually already read a chapter while my computer was having some kind of drama and it just needed some time. So I'm excited to be back in this world with Cassidy Blake, who's able to see ghosts, and she's in Paris as her parents film a documentary about the ghosts in Paris. This is the second book in the series, and I did enjoy the first book, so I'm hoping I will enjoy this one as well. Also this morning, while I was getting ready, I did start listening to Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sean Maguire, and actually it's narrated by Sean Maguire, which I didn't realize, but they kind of said at the beginning, narrated by the author, and I was like, really? And I was a bit worried because a while ago I listened to, or I attempted to listen to, the audiobook of The Diviners by Libba Bray, and Libba Bray was narrating, and I hated her narration like so much that I gave up on the audiobook, and I still haven't read that book, even though I want to. But luckily, Sean Maguire's narration is actually pretty good. I'm about halfway through this. No, 37% through this. Her voice doesn't sound at all like what I thought it would, but she's actually quite a good narrator, I think, so that's impressive. And I think I'm actually going to also try and finish this today since it's such a short audiobook. It's only like 4.5 hours long, so it shouldn't take me that long. And also, this is my favorite book in the Wayward Children series because this is a reread for me, and so since I already know I love this book, I'm sure that I can just blast through it. Probably not much else to tell you right now other than saying hello, welcome to the vlog. We are having another shitsville kind of day, so the weather's really shit. I'm just spending the day sorting out my booktube stuff for the week, fighting my computer because it's obviously very hard to be a computer, and sometimes it just needs to take some time, you know, to get back on track. I totally relate, so I'm trying to be kind to my computer and give it the time that it needs. But anyway, I'll check back in again if I finish reading something or if something more interesting happens, but today's probably not that exciting. So we are having another day of shitsville here. It does say that it is supposed to clear up later, but whether it actually will or not, I don't really believe that it's going to clear up. So basically last night I got within like 50 pages of the end of Tunnel of Bones, so I'm going to finish that off now. Also, I had said I was going to read like a few stories from Tales of Suspense every day, and I haven't even done that, so I'm going to read at least one story and then I'll get on to the rest of the things I want to try and do today. Really, I just want to stay in bed and read because bleh. But I guess I'll do some other stuff as well. We'll see. Okay, so rainy day update. Firstly, I finished Tunnel of Bones and I really enjoyed it. Like, it's nothing too serious. It's just a fun ghost story, a little bit scary, but not too much. I do like how you learn a lot about kind of France and Paris while you're reading this. There are quite a few Harry Potter references, which I find quite strange and unnecessary, to be honest, but I did really enjoy it. My camera's gonna die, so we'll see if we can push through the rest that I wanted to say. So I like that. Then I read one story from Tales of Suspense, and to be honest, for the writing style, one story is about all I can do. Like, it was okay, but it's very slow. And of course, my camera battery didn't make it, but I think I was just saying that I don't think I'm going to get through all of this in Spookathon, but I will do my best, I guess. I mean, it's only Tuesday, so I've got a lot of time, but I just think that even though I like the stories, it's going to be slow. Like, that one was all about this guy waking up and finding himself imprisoned, and then there's this pit and this pendulum. It was called The Pit and the Pendulum, and it was just a weird little story. Kind of spooky, but you never really knew what was going on, which is kind of the point. I kind of liked figuring it out, but I kind of got to the end and thought, what? Anyway, then I finished Death Note finally, and this book was really good. Like, halfway through, the suspense was just killing me because everybody comes together and Light's like got this big plan, and the other guy's got this big plan, and you're like, who is gonna be right? What is gonna happen? And it like reveals things so slowly. It was honestly killing me. Like, it kept getting to the end of a part, and I was like, oh, I'm dying from the like stress of what's going to happen. But I thought the ending was actually really good, and some strange bits, but I do think this was a good ending to the series. So I'm glad that it ended on a high like that. And I do think I'm actually going to just say to my brother that I will buy these books off him, because I will want to own this series since I did really enjoy it. And maybe I'll even reread it at some point, which would be really weird, knowing how things are going to end and kind of understanding some of the schemes that were going on. Anyway, right now I'm going to go and do some work study. Actually, I'm going to go and do it in the bath because it's cleared up a little bit, but it's still a not very nice day outside. So that means it's bath time. And like, and kind of justify it by studying at the same time. So I'm going to go and do that, and then later we'll try and do some more reading, although I really need to go and do some other stuff. I've spent all morning reading, which has been fun, but it wasn't the plan. I blame the weather. Hi. So I'm about to head out into town and go to a meetup, which should be fun, but I thought I'd just update you. So last night, I tried to read the second book in Tales of Suspense, but even though I kind of love how like wonderfully emo Poe can be with some of his writing, but I was still really struggling to pay attention. So then I put that down. I didn't really continue. I think I read like a page and then I gave up. And then I read like the first 2-page little prologue in The Dark Vault. And then I fell asleep. So it just wasn't happening last night. I did really love those 2 pages of Dark Vault that I read, so I'm excited to read the rest, but I didn't get very far. This morning, though, I did finish off Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sean Maguire. As expected, I loved it just like the last time. I think it does just such a good job of talking about the influence your parents have on the kind of person you turn out to be, and also about how important it is to let children be who they are. At the same time as all being set in this dark and spooky moor with like Frankenstein stuff and vampires going on. So I just really loved it. So I don't know what's happening with the lighting. Like, it's kind of sunny and windy and cloudy, and every time the clouds change, I think the lighting changes. I did also this morning, I've started Where They Found Her, which is like a domestic thriller. They found this baby in the river or something. It's kind of the and there's also this young girl whose mother is a complete loser, you know, typical domestic thriller stuff, but I am kind of enjoying it so far. I've listened to about an hour and a half, and so while I'm traveling to town and stuff, I will listen to more of it, and I should be able to make some progress. And then tonight I'll try and read some more of The Dark Vault if I can manage to not fall asleep. Anyway, I'm actually late to this meetup, so I better get going. Hang on, wait. I did also have one other thing I wanted to update you on. So yesterday I went and picked up a couple of library books. So I got number 6 of Paper Girls, which is the last volume. And then since I got this, I just went and requested all the other books in the series, because I think I'm going to reread the whole series, because if I read it now, I don't really remember anything and it'd be a complete waste of time. So I'm going to reread the series. All the other books were available at the library, so they'll be heading my way. I also got God's Grave from the library. So this actually says it's a signed first edition, and I opened it up, and look, it's signed. That's so fancy for a library book. I mean, I guess they were in a hurry to get it, so they got signed versions, but that's cool. I'm not in focus. I know, camera, I know this position is not ideal, but you've done it before, you can do it again. Anyway, that really is all I have to talk about right now, so I need to get going. Hello. So I am home from the meetup and I haven't really done any reading since I last talked to you, although I have listened to a little bit more, how much more, of this audiobook. What is it called? Where They Found Her. So I've listened to 3 hours now, and I have to say I'm actually kind of enjoying it. So basically there's this dead baby found in this river or lake. I wasn't paying enough attention, but there's a dead baby being found, which is kind of traumatic to read about. But we're following a couple of characters who are obviously going to be involved in the investigation in some way. And I'm just really enjoying figuring out or trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, I really hope in the end that whatever is actually going on is something that makes me feel like all my figuring was worth it. I hate it. Like, I like it when all the clues add up and when you find out what the reveal is, you either think, oh yeah, I knew it, or you think, oh, that makes sense. I can't believe I didn't figure it out. I hate it when the reveal happens and you're like, well, I never could have worked that out. Like, that doesn't even make sense. You know, that kind of reveal is disappointing. So let's hope, since everyone says this book is good, or since it's got good reviews, let's hope that this will turn out to be satisfying. But anyway, what I actually came here to talk to you about is, I just almost dropped it on the floor, but I have a package waiting for me and I think I know what it is, so I want to open it. So I thought I would open it with you guys, even though, like, I'm so bad at opening these packages. Camera. Oh, that was probably the best I've ever done. Oh, look how pretty it is. I did not expect the spine to be that colour. Is that what? Oh, yes, it's white, so you can't quite see my other ones up there, but we've got, these are the first 2 collector's editions. So we've got a black one, a red one, and then this is the white one. Although it's kind of not, I don't know, is that my lighting? It's not quite white, it's like a kind of a satiny white. Anyway, I'm excited about having this, mainly because there's supposed to be a short story in here that's Cal's origin story, and I am so excited for Cal's origin story. Where is it? Is it in the back? I just want to know how long it is. I don't know where to look. Ooh, it's like signed. Is it like a real, like Victoria Schwab held this book in her hand and she signed it? I think so. That's cool. Were my other ones signed? I don't know. Maybe not. Let's check. I don't think so. Oh, they were! Oh my goodness, Victoria Schwab has been in the same location with books that I have. That's cool, because Victoria Schwab is cool. Anyway, so I think I found it in the back. It's not that long, which means I think I'm going to read it now before I go to bed, or I'll take it to bed and I'll read it. So that's exciting. I am supposed to be packing because Jason and I have decided to go away for a couple of days, one night probably. It actually depends on the weather. If the weather's shit, we might not even go away at all, but we are going to drive somewhere, go exploring. If the weather will behave itself, maybe we'll stay the night somewhere. So I'm supposed to be packing. I'm going to go do that, and then hopefully I'll have sorted that out in time to still get a little bit of reading done before bed. I can definitely read that short story. It's so short. So excited. I think it's going to make me want to reread that whole series. Also, when I rearranged my shelves and I made this Victoria Schwab section, I did not think about how I'm going to fit this book into that section. I've actually got too much Victoria Schwab to fit in a single cube. That's not the worst problem to have. Anyway, I gotta go pack. Hi, so it's now Sunday. Basically, we came back from our little holiday on Friday where we went up to Taranui, and it was a nice couple of days. The weather wasn't perfect. It's actually nicer today, but that's not how things worked out. So we had a lovely little holiday, just a couple of days, but it was nice. I think I read like 2 chapters of my book while we were away, not that much, but I did yesterday, Saturday, when we came back. Just kind of spent the day like not doing much of anything, catching up on things. But I did read a little bit more of this, so I've nearly finished the first book, The Archived, and I am really loving this book actually. I love the way that it's dealing with grief and just the concept of this library of the dead and the Narrows, which is like this weird space between the real world and the archive. It's just a really interesting concept, and it's making me really excited to see what they're going to do for the TV show that they're going to make of this, because there's just so much potential. I think it's going to be amazing. So my goal for today, I think, is going to be to finish this. I have also listened to a little bit more of where they found her. I went out and did some shopping this morning and listened to some more of that. I had, over the holiday, kind of forgotten who some of the characters were, and so I had to write some things down. So I think I remember now. I think I'll probably finish that off later tonight when I go for a walk with my sister, assuming the weather keeps up what it's doing right now. And until then, I'm pretty much just going to sit here in the sun and try and get as far through this as I can. I've pretty much given up on Tales of Suspense, if you couldn't tell. I think I'm just, it's not a readathon book, it's a slow read. So I think that I will keep reading that, but not for the readathon. I'm pretty sure I can cover all the prompts without that anyway, so we'll work that out. For now, I'm gonna finish this. Hi, so it's Sunday night now. I think this is going to be the end of the vlog, but I got a few things to update you on first. So let's try and go in some kind of order. Firstly, not wearing my glasses because I'm wearing my contacts. I used to always wear contacts, and then my eyes started playing up for some reason, so I haven't worn my contacts in a long time, but I really don't want to have to get like prescription sunglasses, and wearing sunglasses and glasses together doesn't really work. And since the sun is starting to come back out, I really need to sort that out. So I decided to try contacts again. And so far, my eyes are not complaining, which is pretty good. But at the same time, like looking at it now, I'm like, oh, my face looks really weird without my glasses, which is funny because like this is what my face looks like. And I don't wear glasses for years and years and years, so it shouldn't really seem that strange, but it does. So I'll probably still wear my glasses quite a lot anyway now that I've gotten used to them. Glasses are cheaper than contacts, so there's that. As long as you don't break them. Anyway, what else? Also, so I finished the archived part of the Dark Vault, which I'm going to count as like I've finished a book, because I'm just not going to get through the Unbound. I loved the archived. I think it was amazing. I loved the way that it dealt with grief. I loved how it dealt with friendship. I thought the world of the archives and this library of the dead was really cool, and the way it fit into this mystery that was going on was amazing. The only thing I think was maybe a little bit weak was the romance aspect, but like honestly, I don't even care about romance anyway. I feel like I need to keep pushing my glasses up, but you know what? I'm not wearing glasses, so that's not gonna work. Anyway, this book, I loved it, and I am super excited to read The Unbound. Also, I'm super excited for the TV show. This is gonna be such an amazing TV show. Like, as I was reading it, I just kept thinking, this is the perfect concept for TV. I can't wait, and I'm gonna have to wait for a long time. So that's sad. So anyway, I probably am after this going to carry and read The Unbound, but I'm not going to finish it tonight. That's a shame. Since we're talking about things I'm not going to finish, I'm probably not going to finish Tales of Suspense. As I said, I don't mind the writing style, but it is really slow, so it's really not suited to reading during a readathon. So I'll try and read some more this month, but I'm just going to take my time with it. Then also, just earlier I went for a walk with my sister, and on the way back I just happened to cross the road at a different point from where I normally cross the road, and that caused me to notice that there's this little free library right on the side of the road there, and I opened it up and I had a look, and there looks like there's some really cool books in there. Definitely some that I'm interested in. I didn't take any because I don't like to take books out of free libraries unless I'm putting some more back in. So tomorrow when I walk past again to go for a walk with my sister, I will take some of the books that I've been meaning to unhaul and find a new home, and I will swap them out for some new exciting books. So that's gonna be exciting. And then also after that, while I was walking home, I think when I got home I had about 20 minutes left of the audiobook of Where They Found Her, and I had to just finish listening to it because the ending, just like so many things were being revealed. It was amazing. Like, I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. So far, the only thriller that I really liked was Big Little Lies. This was definitely on the same kind of level. I probably like Big Little Lies better, but that's probably just because I like the characters better. In a lot of ways, this did a lot of the same things in terms of there being like a multi-generational mystery going on. I thought it just had so many different things going on, and all the different reveals were like interrelated, but also just so many things that were just so cool. Like, I love the way it just kept, like, everything kept being revealed. Like when we found out who the mother of the dead baby was, there were still so many questions that needed answering, and they were all answered, and it was good. I was surprised that it was as good as it was, but it was good. So I'm glad that I read it. Thanks to the Spookathon for making me read it, especially since I kind of hadn't, like, if you watch my TBR, it was a bit of a surprise addition to the TBR at the last minute. And I wasn't super hyped about it. Like, reading the synopsis, I didn't think it would be very exciting, but I actually really liked it. Books, sometimes they surprise you, huh? So, since, as I said, I'm going to read some more now before I go to bed, but I don't think I'm going to finish anything else. But I think I've figured out how I'm going to align the books with the prompts so I still win, because winning is important to me, even if I fudge it slightly. So I'm going to count Where They Found Her as the thriller. I'm going to count Tunnel of Bones for red on the cover. I'm going to count Death Note 12 for a book with a spooky word in the title, because I'm going to count death, even though this is actually called Death Note Finis or something. Anyway, death is a spooky word. This wasn't on my TBR for the Spookathon, but since I read it this week, I can count it. Then I will count the archived part of the Dark Vault for a book with a spooky setting, because it is set both in this Library of the Dead and also this hotel that's had murders happen in it, so it definitely qualifies as a spooky setting. And then the only prompt that we have left is to read something you wouldn't normally read, which I was going to count Tales of Suspense for. Obviously I haven't read that, but what I'm going to do is count Down Among the Sticks and Bones for that, because it was a reread and I hardly ever reread books, so that's not something I would normally read. That's my argument of how I'm fitting that into that prompt. And if you don't think it fits, well, too bad, because I decided that it does. Or at least I'm going to count it as if it does. So I win the readathon. And now I can go to bed, which means I double win. And I had a nice holiday this week. I saw some fun donkeys and some baby ducks, and it's just been a nice week. I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done, but I got some stuff done. And I feel ready for the next week, and I've got some plans, so I'm looking forward to that. But otherwise, I think I'm going to wrap up this vlog here instead of just talking forever and ever. So thanks for hanging out with me during the Spookathon. I hope that you had a good week and that your next week will also be great. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.